Oh good, looks like they're already here. Guess I can turn this off. Okay, here we go.
There you go, love. One pan-galactic gargle blaster. Get in.
This is wine, you silly old nugget. And it looks like you've already had a swallow of it.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Well, you're almost late. I'm Officer Jenny. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Gino Garin, and I am a ganker.
This isn't a Push Anonymous meeting, Mr. Garin. This is a parole meeting. I will remind you that you are committing to this rehabilitation in lieu of a life sentence for the immeasurable murder charges, trillions of credits of property damage, and the many pad-blocking violations.
Alright. So, what do you need from me?
First, please go over the conditions of your parole to the best of your memory.
Well, after the Pilots Federation managed to catch up with me...
You're so cold at times, damn it.
Somehow, I was hauled before the Discipline Committee and given a choice. They could lock me up and throw away the key, like you said, or I could participate in a voluntary rehab outreach program. I could have joined groups like the AXI and fought the Thargoids, but I also have had all but one of my ships grounded and my weapons permits rescinded. I'm not even allowed to carry personal firearms. They let me have one ship, returned to sender, after they ripped the frag cannons off and stuffed it with cargo bays and limpet controllers. The build isn't terrible, but it's certainly no frag mamba.
So, if you can't participate in combat, what will you be doing for your community service?
The only group that doesn't require guns and would take me with my colorful past is the Fuel Rats. And they've agreed to sign off on my rehabilitation if I complete a total of 10 rescues and acquire the Fuel Rat logo to be applied to my ship.
Only 10 rescues? Seems rather thin for community service.
I know, but I double-checked with both them and the Discipline Committee office. They both assured me they knew what was on the table. Gave me a weird vibe too, but I'm not gonna argue with it. Anyway, I'm calling it Quest for the Rat Decal.
Don't call it that.
You literally can't stop me.
I'm assuming you've already made some progress on this quest of yours?
Yeah, a little bit. But first, we need to start at the beginning.
So in case you're not familiar with the Fuel Rats, they're a volunteer group of commanders who spend their time waiting for other commanders to run out of fuel. It happens more often than you might think, between forgetting to equip a fuel scoop, getting lost in a T-Tory desert, or failing to pay attention to your jumps in general. To the Fuel Rats, though, the reason doesn't matter. Their motto is, we have fuel, you don't. Any questions? They have an over 95% success rate, an average response time of less than 10 minutes in the bubble, and they don't even charge for the service. In short, the Fuel Rats are the galactic breakdown service you call when you're an idiot. They use a website and dedicated IRC channel to get your critical information and coordinate the rescue. Really quickly, there are 3 parties in play during the rescue: the client, the rat, and dispatch. The client's the Dumbo currently tumbling in space without fuel. The rat is the commander driving to them with that fuel, and the dispatcher bridges the gap of communication between client and rat. Dispatch runs the show, the rat does the heavy lifting, and the client is, well, the reason we're all here. So, if I'm to get my decal, I need to dive headfirst into ratting, and to do that, I would need to get drilled. Before I could begin interacting with real clients, the fuel rats wanted to ensure I was capable of performing up to standard. So, I was set up with the fuel rat drill. They would fully test me on both a standard rescue and common mistakes that clients make. And given that they have a list of common mistakes to draw from, I should have been clued into just how often they happen. Anyway, I was whisked off to a separate IRC channel with Feisty Pizza 6624 of Mice and Clyde and Annison to take part in a simulated rescue. Annison would play the part of the damsel, the would-be client, and Clyde would dispatch, facilitating communication and orchestrating actions between the damsel and, well, me. Feisty will sit back and watch so he had a chance to take notes and provide feedback at the end. So the drill begins, and the drill signal provides all the information you need to start your rescue, including commander name, the system they're in, and its approximate distance from its closest notable stellar location. After copying the system into my navigation panel, I called my number of jumps. Unfortunately, I had been asked not to use my neutron boost for this rescue, but my navigation panel had not been set to match, so I had to revise my number of jumps. After Annison is instructed to send me a friend request, I accept it and then report to Clyde that I have received a team invite by mistake. I also report in that the client is in solo play, a reasonable error for a client to make if they were in solo play before they called for help. One client relog later, and I notice that my client isn't even in the same system as me. They're one jump over in Skyron. After updating Clyde with their new location, I'm sent a team invite, and their team signal shows 5,000 light seconds away, but there was plenty of time to trek the 2 minutes in Super Cruise over, and team signal drop right on top of them at full speed. Once in instance, it was a simple matter of targeting Annison and letting fly a fuel transfer limpet. And that was that. A full rescue with multiple complications completed in less than 10 minutes. After the rescue, we completed an after-rescue debriefing where I provided info on fuel scoops and fuel management, as well as galaxy map navigation. I wanted to be as thorough as possible to ensure I didn't lose any points with Overseer Feisty. That being said, I think your boy did a pretty good job. Following the debrief, we all provided feedback on the drill, and this is where I learned that we were supposed to be even more complicated. My client was supposed to have improperly left their shields on, which would then be my job to report back on the extra power drain, and therefore fuel, while waiting. Turns out Annison was not asked to have them left on, but I was thrown a curveball in my review anyway. After going over some of the finer points of client-side issues and getting a glowing recommendation from Annison, I got the chance to gloat a little bit about my areas of expertise. If there's two things I spend a lot of time in my day on, it's watching the social panels and quickly scanning ship builds in the external panel. Feisty Pizza then takes over and quizzes me about some of the more delicate rescue maneuvers. The rats can be dispatched on something called a Code Red. It's unique in that a client has no more fuel, cannot move, and is slowly suffocating. After flexing my knowledge of tracking squirrely targets, I casually mention my considerable anxiety of being up to the task. After all, up until now, I've been intentionally exposing other commanders to the vacuum of space, not saving them from a lack of oxygen inside their own ships under a significant time crunch. It would be quite the change of pace, to put it mildly. No time to dwell on that, though, because now that my drill was completed to the satisfaction of the Overseer, I was granted permission to begin true fuel rat rescues. They call this getting a tail, and after some delightful banter in Rat Chat, I was ready to begin in earnest. It wouldn't take too long for my first rescue to pop up. The rat signal came in, and I called my jumps to Repun Kami. In seconds, the dispatcher Annison had assigned me to the rescue, solo. However, almost immediately, the client shouts that they had provided an incorrect system and does not clarify the right system. They claim that they're new to PC and are still getting to grips with the controls, and dispatch walks them through adding me to their friends list. After receiving a friend request, I check my socials tab and see that this commander is currently residing in private group. No time to dwell on that, though, because the client then shares that they are currently on less than 2 minutes of oxygen. Dispatch changes hands, and the new dispatcher, Salvu, hurriedly instructs Grover's Mill to log out. Grover's Mill, in their panic, closes the game entirely. This is fine, though, as it gives us time to calm them down and instruct them on what to do next. I'm instructed to watch my social panel for game mode changes while the client is walked through the new instructions for their Code Red status. The client provides their updated location from the main menu, and I reroute. Luckily, it's only a few jumps away, and my ship is more than capable. My client then claims that they need to take a bio break, and honestly, same. Salvu then responds that I might have my first dead client today. Thanks, Salvu. We then prep for the client to log back in and roll the dice. And, he's already logged in. Jumping the gun could have cost us precious seconds, but I'm in his team and it's gonna be on me. I push full speed towards the wing beacon and drop in. I target Grover's Mill, launch a limpet, and... And then he was gone. Grover's Mill had suffocated in the vacuum of space, and his ship had self-destructed. I felt so many things in that moment, but as I reported back to dispatch that my client had not made it, the feeling that pushed its way to the top was sadness? I'd never been sad to see a ship explode before. I figured I would be angry. This dumb Care Bear just bungled his way into ruining my first rescue. But I couldn't push down wishing that I had been just 15 seconds faster, so I could see that little Sidewinder make it. Whatever. He was dead, and dispatch was in agreement that there wasn't much of anything I could have done better. I would just have to chalk it up as an L and move on. Shortly after I returned to the Deep Citrus Daddy for some R&R, another rat signal came in. Commander USC Ninja, with a bunch of X's, is calling for help in the Pencil sector. No code red this time, but I think we all know how quickly that can change. I call a comfortably lengthy 15 jumps, and I'm set up by Dispatcher Annison as the only rat on this rescue. Again. Another rat, a Taxarillium, decides not to call jumps as they'd be several minutes behind me, and honestly, I'll take the easy win at this point. Maybe not as easy as I thought, though, as the client is currently in ED Beyond, and I don't have the Legacy client downloaded. I could feel another rescue slipping through my fingers when the client clarifies that they're actually in Horizons 4.0. That is much more doable. So I check in on back channels with Dispatch to let them know I'd swap over when I arrive in system. After a few minutes, Dispatch pings me to relay distance to the rescue, and I do so, only to get yelled at a second time by Mecha Squeak for calling jumps when I'm registered to the wrong game type. After giving Mecha Squeak a reassuring command, I pull up to the star one jump away to refill my fuel tank. The client is pinged to check their O2 status, and not only are they not on emergency oxygen, but they have materials to synthesize more, so I'm reasonably certain this client won't expire right in front of me. After jumping into the rescue system, I swap game modes to 4.0, and upon logging in, I see the client is currently in solo play. One more relog, this time from the client, and I'm sent a team invite. The wing beacon is only 75 light seconds away, but I wasn't going to leave anything to chance. I pushed ahead full speed and dropped into the instance. I turned around, prepped a fuel limpet, sent it on its way, and... Finally, my first successful rescue. As I debrief the client and continue to funnel delicious fuel into an Anaconda's gaping fuel tank, I felt a wash of satisfaction. This was the first step on my quest for the Rat Decal, and I had earned that fridge magnet. The next day, after a well-deserved rest from the fizzing adrenaline of the day before, I would get another crack at the code red whip. The rat signal came in, and the client was requesting help in the rat-try system. Rat-try? Rat-retry? It must be a coincidence. I got yelled at again by Mecha Squeak to change my game mode, and after digging the chat logs out, I scrounged the command and set things right. In the meantime, dispatch was handed to Toby Charles, who then attempted to assign this code red rescue to myself and another rat, King Domino. However, King Domino isn't actually dispatched to the rescue, and I'm on my own. The client logs in, and this is when I notice, hey, he's 100,000 light seconds away, and he's on less than 3 minutes of oxygen. Oh no! The client was ushered right back to the main menu after I got my vector, and I trucked the 8.5 minutes to be as close to their previous location as I could be. Taxi driver is then walked through the steps to get me winged in, and we're all poised to pull the trigger. The go is given, and within seconds I'm staring at the client now logged in-game. The team invite comes in and I accept, but I'm almost 150 light seconds out and the client is running out of O2. My heart is racing in my ears as I drop into instance and see another Sidewinder. I fire off the limpet before even facing the client, and then we wait. Seconds tick by as the limpet streaks towards its target. And then... With mere seconds to spare, the taxi driver lives to drive another day. Seeing that little sidewinder warp away gave me such a sense of relief. Not just because I had rescued another client, but I felt like I had been redeemed from Commander Grover's mill. A code red was no longer an impossible task. I had climbed that mountain, and the air at the peak smelled like victory.
Well, that's all I've gotten up to this week. The rest of the time I've been observing my house arrest on my fleet carrier, stationed right outside Jackson's lighthouse.
Good. I'll collate these notes and forward them on to the Pilots Federation for processing. We'll meet back here same time next week.
It's a date.
Don't do that.
Sorry, I'll just go.